Good morning, Steeler fans. This is Daniel J. in State of the Steelers. Welcome to the Huddle. Today we have a special guest. We have none other than Britsburgh Owen, coming from all the way from the UK to give us his UK perspective on the black and gold. Please hit that like and subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of the content that we have going on. Today, Britsburgh is going to give us his takes or his, 5 keys to victory, so to speak, when it comes to the Steelers playing against the Cincinatti Bengals. This Saturday on my live channel, I'll be giving you my 5 keys to victory and why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win. You don't want to miss it, so please hit that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers, and welcome to the Huddle. Owen, my man, how you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, Daniel. All good here over here in the UK. How's everything in Texas, buddy?
Oh man, we just had a rainstorm. It was kind of crazy. I was like, you know what? Every time I get on the cast with my buddy Owen, it starts raining in Texas. I think I need to get on more often with you.
I'm solving the state's water crisis.
Yeah, apparently so, man. It's every time we get on, it rains pretty good. So,
curse of the UK, mate. Curse of the UK.
it's not a curse here, man. We love it when it rains. It's a far. It happens too far and few between for out here for it to happen. But let's talk some Steelers football.
Yeah.
So it's a big week. Pittsburgh Steelers are going into Cincinnati, Ohio, and what's it called? Paycor or Paycom Stadium, some of that nature that they just
Paycor Stadium. I still think it should be called Bungle Stadium, but there you go.
I agree. I completely agree. And so, the Steelers are a 6.5-point underdog. It seems like the Pittsburgh Steelers are flying under the radar. Myself and Mark Davison had a cast. We talked about the Cincinnati Bengals and they might be overrated or so. How do you feel about this game? Do you think that the Steelers should be a 6.5-point underdog? And how do you feel it coming out?
I think, well, that's what everyone says, isn't it? You look at the NFL and NFL Network insiders and their predictions. I think it came out the other day, all those 10 names, only about 2 I'd ever heard of, predicting the Bengals to win. I think everyone apart from Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football has written the Steelers off this year. So
yeah, I agree.
I think, should they be 6.5-point underdogs? No, not realistically. No, I don't think they should be. But that's because we know the team, we know the roster, we know how these guys have been playing. It's all just obviously going on the fact that the Bengals are the current AFC champions. Everyone seems to love Joe Burrow for some unknown reason, and they are sort of like the fashionable team at the moment, aren't they? So I think that's probably why the Steelers are graded as 6.5-point underdogs. But I don't know about you, Daniel, but for me, whenever the Steelers are underdogs, that's when we do best. Because when people write us off, when people say that we're going to underachieve this season, we're not going to have a winning season, or that's an easy loss for the Steelers, that's when the guys seem to come back, and it's kind of like, was it bulletin board material? All Tomlin's got to do is pin it up on the board, and they'll be good to go.
No, I completely agree. I mean, when the Pittsburgh Steelers are flying under the radar, when they're being counted out, when talking heads in the mainstream media are saying that they're not going to go anywhere, and that's usually when the Pittsburgh Steelers do their best work. I fully anticipate them coming through on this game. I can't wait for it to happen. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals have some core wide receiver group that has some excellent players. How do you anticipate the Pittsburgh Steelers stopping that dynamic wide receiver group that they have there in Cincinnati?
I was talking about this the other day on a radio show that I did in New York, and I was listening. I think it's to Dejan Kovacevic talk about it earlier as well, and it's all about, I think, and this is going to sound really stupid now, but it's about making the Bengals one-dimensional. It's about making them look to those receivers, because that's the best way to stop them. Because at the end of the day, stop Joe Mixon, stop him, turn them into a pass-only team. That's when the Steelers will be more dangerous, because that's when our pass rush comes in. Now, we don't even have to send a blitz, because Burrow reads blitzes quite well. But when you've got Watt, Highsmith, Haywood, Ogunjobi, Alu, all of them are capable of getting after the quarterback, That's how you stop that receiver core. Forget the secondary, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but that pass rush is the key to stopping the receivers, because if you're getting in Joe Burrow's face in 2.2 seconds, he has not got time to go through his reads. As Chase, Boyd, Higgins have not got time to get separation from the defensive backs, and that is an absolute key to stopping them. So Watt, Highsmith, Ogunjobi, Hayward, they've got to get in Burrow's face as quick as possible, and that's one way to stop them. Obviously, as well, you've got Minka Fitzpatrick back there now as fully fit safety. He's going to be watching things, and I think there's a lot of people are underrating the work that Witherspoon, Wallace, and Sutton are going to do this season. I think they are probably one of the most underrated groups on the defense. So, but the key to stopping those receivers is getting in Burrow's face as much as possible. And what a lot of Bengals fans have forgotten is that both the times we played the Bengals last season, TJ Watt, I know he played against them at Paul Brown Stadium as it was then, but he was not fully fit. They have not faced a fully fit TJ Watt in the last 2 games, and now he's back to his best. So that's the key, I think, to stopping Joe, is stopping those three wide receivers.
No, I completely agree. Their receiving core is dynamic, and I think the pass rush is definitely going to have to get home, especially having them dealing right now with what they currently have right now. You have Collins, who is a free agent who was just activated, who didn't participate in preseason. You have an offensive line who, when you look at it all together, hasn't really played much together in real meaningful games. You have a rookie left guard. There's a lot of holes, in my opinion, on that line. Now, when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers of last year, in my opinion, the offensive line started out struggling very poorly because there was no cohesiveness there. There was a lot of change up. There was a lot of things that went on last offseason that ended up being what the line was come week 1. And now the Bengals are going into something similar, in my opinion. And when you're going up against the reigning defensive player of the year in TJ Watt, that's going to be a battle. And, that offensive line in the trenches is definitely something the Steelers are going to have to win if they want to win this game. Now, on the offensive side, I believe there's been some question as far as Deontay Johnson, if he's going to play in this game. How concerned are you if Deontay Johnson doesn't participate in the Cincinnati game due to a shoulder injury?
Yeah, the official injury reports just come out, and it was only him and Marcus Allen that were limited participants today. So the fact that he's limited is encouraging, that he could well be back, because it's obviously not completely out. Right. As to if I'm concerned if DJ doesn't play, no, not really, because DJ's fantastic. Don't get me wrong; he's a brilliant wide receiver, and I think he'll be even better this season with a mobile quarterback, because of the fact that he's going to get more time to get more separation, which is what he's really good at. But if he doesn't play, George Pickens, Chase Claypool, Gunnar Olszewski, Miles Boykin, Steven Sims, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry. Really? Are we worried? No, we're not worried. George Pickens, I can see fulfilling the role that he would have done. Claypool actually plays his best football when Deontay Johnson doesn't play. Some of Chase Claypool's best performances have come in games where Deontay Johnson has been out. So I love DJ. Don't get me wrong. I think he's brilliant, but if he is out, it's something we can cope with because of the strength in depth we've got in the wide receiver room, and the fact that George Pickens, I think, is going to be as good as, if not better than, Jamar Chase was last year in his rookie year, because he's got everything, hasn't he, Daniel? He's got speed, he's got strength, he can high point balls, and the way he goes up and contorts his body, catches the ball, and then rather than hitting the ground, lands on his feet and then just goes again. He's absolutely awesome.
Do you see the Pittsburgh Steelers protecting Dan Moore in this game? And if so, how do you foresee that happening with tight ends, running backs? What do you think is the game plan here?
I think we'll see a lot of 12 and 13 personnel in this game. I really do. I think we'll definitely see the tight ends. I mean, we're fortunate that Zach Gentry is a fantastic. Not only has he developed his receiving game, but he's also a very good blocking tight end. Probably the best block. He's probably the best blocking tight end on the roster. Freiermuth, I mean, people talk about his catching ability, and yeah, he is, I think, going to be eventually as good as Kittle and as Kelsey, but his blocking is also absolutely superb as well. I mean, I think it was the Bills game last year when he blocked that guy straight off the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Moore and with Chooks to a lesser extent, they will use a lot of the tight ends there to help, double team on the outside and back up the pass protection, and also to open gaps for Najee to run through. And I think a lot of that will come down to, say, Gentry being on that left side next to Moore. He is the best option to put there. They've got to come up with a plan to get around the fact that Dan Moore has looked a bit like a turnstile in preseason.
Yeah, he sure has. And the left side completely has looked pretty weak well, the offensive line completely has looked weak, but on the left side, more so than we would like. Do you see Jesse Davis being the swing tackle in this game, participating in a few just to kind of help him out as well?
I hope not. I hope not. I think that's one thing that the Steelers have perhaps got wrong this offseason is the fact that they have not gone and got a quality tackle, or at least a quality backup tackle to back up Chooks and Dan Moore. That is the one area, well, on the line there is several areas of weakness, but that is the one big glaring error, I think, there. Trent Scott, he's a decent offensive lineman. Is he NFL starter caliber? No. Is he a backup? Yes, he's a backup, but is he any good? Well, he didn't look like that in Carolina. Jesse Davis is, I think the common consensus that I've heard, listening to other shows and listening to and reading reports, is that he's a really nice guy, but he's an awful offensive lineman. I was listening, I think it was my good buddy Noah Strackbean was talking and writing in Sports Illustrated, and he said that in his final season in Miami, Jesse Davis gave up 120 pressures and 8 sacks on the quarterback. That's worse than Dan Moore in his rookie season.
Jeez. Yeah, maybe it'd be good not to see him on the field. It's it's going to be tough. Do you think how well do you think Mitch Trubisky has to play in this game to keep the Kenny chance from not coming out in week 2?
Oh, I feel for Mitch. I really do. He's got a tough job anyway behind that line, because you could put Russell Wilson, you could put Patrick Mahomes, you could put Josh Allen behind that offensive line, and they're going to be running for their lives because that's the nature of this line. I mean, fortunately, Mitch has got that mobility. But yeah, everything he does is going to be under a microscope now. Every single thing is going to be under a microscope. And the first interception he throws, that's going to be the first rumblings, the first incomplete pass, the first 3 and out. You're going to have a situation where some Steeler fans are going to start to grow impatient, and you're going to, perhaps to a lesser extent this week, obviously with it being on the road, but it's certainly, next week when we play the Patriots in the home opener, you're going to have a situation where any slight mistake and the chance of Kenny are going to start. I just think that the Steelers fans need to give the guy time. Yeah, he is a veteran. Yes, he is experienced, but he is too settling into a new team. He is settling into a new offense. And I love Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett's fantastic. But realistically, thinking about it, I wouldn't want him put into any of these first 3 games, because it's a baptism of fire. The Bengals, reigning AFC champions, get behind that line. Bill Belichick, as we know, eats rookie quarterbacks for breakfast. And I think the Patriots are going to be a very poor team this year. I think the Patriots will finish with a losing record this year, but Belichick is a defensive mastermind and knows how to get after rookie quarterbacks. And then obviously going to First Energy Field, whether, even though they haven't got Watson, it's going to be a hard game. So putting Trubisky in there, who's used to intensive rivalries, having played with the Bears in the NFC North, when you've got the rivalry with the Packers, the Vikings, he knows what it is to handle that pressure. So as to how well he's got to play, well, as long as he manages the game well, he keeps the Steelers keeps the game close. I think that's all we can ask of him. That's what I think us reasonable-minded Steeler fans would say. Perhaps some more unrealistic ones will be, he's got to blow everybody out.
Well, I mean, I think he's going to have to if he's going to get the fans off of his back, to be honest with you. I think if he comes in and he's playing average, I think the fans are going to still be chanting out for Kenny. And I think that one thing that I found out of the Mike Tomlin press conference was that they saw that I took out of the press conference that intrigued me was that Mike Tomlin mentioned Kenny Pickett's advanced development in preseason and in stadium games, and that he expects that his development to continue. And when they asked if Mitch Trubisky is the starting quarterback and when was the moment that he was, found to be the starting quarterback, Mike Tomlin said continually. It's continually a process for him to be the starting quarterback, which means I don't know if this quarterback race is 100% set in stone as far as the full year goes. I think that if the Pittsburgh Steelers are in contention, getting close to that bye week, and Mitch Trubisky is just playing so-so, I think they may yank him for the rook. I'd be excited to see it. I know Steeler Nation would be. So what are your let me put it like 5 keys for victory on this game, so to speak, when it comes to the Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals?
The biggest one is protect the ball, keep the ball. I mean, last season we turned the ball over 5 times against the Bengals, including that pick 6 that Ben threw to, of all people, Mike Hilton. So we've got to protect the ball. We cannot give the ball back to Joe Burrow and that offense. We just cannot give them, any more time on the field. And the other reason for that is we've got to protect our defense, because if we protect the ball, we protect the defense. Keep the defense off the field. Our defense have proven that when they are fully healthy, when they are, full energy levels, they can stop any offense in the NFL. I mean, they held the Chiefs for 20 minutes scoreless, which no other NFL team had done. But what happened? Offense went 3 and out, and that's when it went down. It went wrong because the defense got gas. So yeah, first key is definitely protect the ball, no turnovers. No interceptions, no fumbles, nothing. Second key is we've got to establish the run. We've got to get Najee Harris in the game and establish the run, because then if we establish the run, 2 things happen. Number one, you can then establish your passing game, because the opposition defense are looking out for the run, and they'll start loading the box because I think Harris is going to come through, which then frees up more wide receivers to go deep and then frees up our passing game. So got to establish the run on offense. Third thing, we've got to turn the Bengals into a one-dimensional team. So stop Joe Mixon, stop them running the ball. So because then it brings into effect our most effective weapon, which is the pass rush. And we've led the league, the last 5 seasons in sacks, and led the league by a long way in sacks from the next nearest team. I think, we were over 50 again last season. I think Minnesota were the nearest with 36. I mean, it's ridiculous how good the Steelers are at getting after the quarterback. So make them one-dimensional. Number 4, it's kind of links to that number 3, which is get in Joe Burrow's face regular and often. Don't give him any time on the ball. Get after him and, sack him and get him to the ground as much as possible, because that is a great way to stop him. As the Rams showed in the Super Bowl, when Aaron Donald was after him, when Aaron Donald sacked him, when Aaron Donald was in his face, he was nowhere near the quarterback he had been all season. And I think the 5th and final thing is I think we've just got to make sure that throughout that game, look, Steelers are not a team that blow people out. That's not how we play the game. They love to give the fans heart attack. Keep it close. Keep it in. So going into the 4th quarter, they're either got a lead or it's close, so that we can then, we can actually win the game late, because we've got the most effective weapon, I think, which is Chris Boswell. Give Boswell the chance to kick the game-winning field goal, which, Boz is just amazing. I absolutely love Boz.
Oh, I agree. I think that was one of the biggest, extensions in this offseason that is going under the radar as well. I agree. Those things are all 5 of those things are definitely key for the Pittsburgh Steelers for victory. But, with that being said, I think that the Steelers have a really good chance in this game. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers can keep the trenches, and also Tyson Alualu's back. And you have Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt healthy. I think this is going to be a really good test for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cincinnati Bengals. And all the pressure is on the Bengals at this point. They're the defending AFC champs, or the defending AFC North champs. They're a team that went to the Super Bowl. They're a team that are now playing a team who is expected to be the 4th place, finishing 4th place in the division. It's a team that has a huge question mark at quarterback. And I think there was a a stat that came out earlier as far as predictions for who's going to have the worst pass protection, and it was the Steelers. The Steelers' offensive line was predicted to have the worst pass protection this season, and all these things stacked up against them. It's going to be intriguing. I think the Steelers are very well overlooked, and I can't wait for this game. So one last thing before we let you go, can you give us a score prediction, then let everybody know where we can find you?
So my score prediction, I'm going to give the same score prediction that I've given a number of places now. 27-24. Chris Boswell
Nice.
field goal wins it. Chris Boswell walk-off field goal wins it. I honestly think, Daniel, I think we'll win this game. I think it's the same as it was going to Buffalo last year. Everyone wrote us off going into Buffalo last year, and we beat the Buffalo Bills, and we beat Josh Allen, who, in my opinion, is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. So 27-24 Steelers. That's the way you can find my stuff. Well, on YouTube, Britsburgh Owen on YouTube. You just put that into the search bar. Steelers videos, daily Steelers videos, podcasts, live streams. And I am live streaming the game on Sunday with Mackenzie Miller, who is former Fox sports reporter. So that'd be a good watch, guys, if you're around and free. And also on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with my good buddy Mark Davison, Steelers Nation Australia. That's the place you can find me. Yes, thanks, Daniel. Thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you for coming on, Owen. Your links will be in the description. Please, guys, go follow and subscribe in all those locations. He's giving wonderful and awesome updates every single day and breaking news. You don't want to miss it. It is a UK perspective, unlike any other. Excuse me. With that being said, guys, I'm Daniel J. This is State of the Steelers. This is my buddy Owen from Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate and Britsburgh Owen. With that being said, we're out. Peace.